practical talk by Werner about thing separation, backend and front end of the latest official WordPress theme, 2017. So very curious.
Okay, thanks. So I've been visiting meetups from the beginning, but it's my first talk here. Most people know me as the husband of Werner, but I will try to tell you something about a project I've been doing for my own. It's not in production or something. And I made a decoupled front end from a WordPress backend. So the backend is on a server somewhere. It's WordPress, and the front end is pure JavaScript. It works a bit like this. So you start left on the upper left, and you do a request, for example, for post hello world, and the JavaScript app translates that into a query, but a special query. It's a GraphQL query. GraphQL is developed by Facebook, and it's an alternative for the REST API. So you do a query in the backend, and the backend asks get post to the WordPress database. It returns a post object, and the backend has also a GraphQL server, and this server translates that object into a JSON object. And the JSON data comes to the app, and the app translates it into HTML. That's how it works. But it's quite complicated because in the front you only have data. You have nothing. You have no HTML. You have no pagination. You have no menu. There's nothing. You have to build everything. So that raises the question: why would you do something like that? Basically it's a hobby to try out new technologies, but also I like writing in JavaScript because you have very cool development tools in JavaScript. You have, for example, Webpack, Babel. You can write in AS 2015, AS 6. So it's the new, not so new, but still JavaScript syntax, which is very expressive, very nice to work with. You have cool testing tools. And something very special is a Vue CLI. Vue is the language, the JavaScript language I wrote this in. And it's something between Angular and React. It's has a little bit of both technologies. And CLI is a tool that lets you very easily bootstrap your application. So you do a Vue init, and you give it a name, and bam, everything is set up. You have Webpack, you have Babel, it's all configured, and you can start developing. Something else very cool is a GraphQL. I don't know how to pronounce it, but it's a Google Chrome extension. So it lets you in your browser make GraphQL requests, and you can easily see the result coming back. I will demonstrate that in a few moments. But not only the tools are very cool, the result is also nice because you have a very performant front end. It goes very fast. You have no page refreshes, and you can add nice animations which are otherwise impossible if you have page refreshes. You can't animate between transitions of pages. So the first thing at the back end, you have GraphQL. So it means at the front you need a GraphQL client which translates what you want to know into some request, and in the backend you have a GraphQL server which translates that to WordPress queries. So I made a WordPress plugin which contains this server and which makes the queries to the WordPress backend. And it looks, you see a graphical, so that's the Chrome extension. You see I made an endpoint. An endpoint is a function at the server that you can call. So it's the endpoint is testing domain name and then slash GraphQL. So otherwise than the REST API, you have only one endpoint. In the REST API, you have, for example, if you want to have the post, you make an endpoint for post, and you make a query, get me the post, and then WordPress returns, for example, the post, and then categories 1, 3, 5. So you have 3 IDs. So you have to make a new query to get the name, the slug of these categories. And you see in GraphQL, you ask everything at once. And everything comes back at the right. That's what you get returned. Of course, you can, with the REST API, you can make a very big endpoint which returns everything at once. But still, for every query you have, everything your application needs to know, you have to make a different endpoint at the server. Not so with GraphQL, you only have one endpoint, and you construct your query at the client. So you determine what you want to ask, and that's what you get back. Nothing more, nothing less. That's also a difference. With the REST API, you ask something. For example, I want to have all posts, but only the IDs and the slugs and the permalinks. But when you have a big endpoint with the REST API, you get everything, always everything. And at the client, you have to say, I don't need that, I don't need that. But with GraphQL, you ask just what you need, and you get it back. So that's very, very elegant. Also, it makes that you have very few round trips to the server. And you compose your query at the client. You have less endpoints. So that's the backend, and then the front is Vue.js. So it's a JavaScript framework. It's quite new. I think it started in 2014. And now it's gaining a little bit of traction, and it's one of the most promising frameworks for 2017. So they say. I don't know if it's true, but it's nice to work with because it's very fast. It works with a virtual DOM, like a React, and it's very simple. React is quite a steep learning curve, but Vue is actually quite simple. But like in React, you work with components. I will demonstrate that later on. You have a cool ecosystem with dev tools, and you have Vuex. Vuex is your state machine, because your application has to have a certain state, has to remember certain things. For example, when you have pagination, you have to remember which page you're on to determine what's the next and the previous. And so things like that have to be stored somewhere. Or you can pass them from one point to the other. But it's better to keep state in your application. And most modern frameworks like React and Vue, they keep one global object and they put a state in the object. But it's made so that you can't change it directly. You have to define certain updates, and you can only change the state through those updates. So that's actually the structure of the application. So you see, there's a lot of components. I'm now at a home.vue, and you see you have, for example, a header, a page header. These are other components which are also worked out at the left. So you can actually construct your whole application with components that you built yourself. And every component translates to a certain HTML structure. So you build actually your entire site like this. And in the middle you see a router view, and that's the main part. Actually, that's the dynamic part of your site. That's if you navigate, if you click on the menu, the router view changes, and another component comes there, gets there substituted. So what about SEO? Because that's always a difficult issue with decoupled sites because there is no metadata unless you provide it yourself. So yeah, what mostly is done is a server-side rendering. So is it called? So it means okay, you have your front, and when a request comes, you handle it with your front. But when a request comes from Google or from some bot or a crawler, Twitter crawler or a Google crawler, you say, okay, those requests, they don't go to my front end, they go to a special place at the server which renders HTML, which is pre-rendered. The HTML is ready there, and they get the HTML because that content doesn't change very much, and they have all the SEO metadata. So I had to make some quite complicated htaccess rules to redirect all the, you see at the upstairs, Baidu Spider, Facebook, external hit, Twitter bot. So those requests are all redirected to my backend, https testing.prutstaan.be/ and then it gets substituted there. So those requests get the content straight from there, and all the rest goes to the front. And it works because you see Google, Slack, Twitter, Facebook. If you share a link from the front, for example, prutstaan.be/post/hello world, all the metadata is there. You see the picture, and so you can share if you work like this. Okay, so first I'm gonna show the GitHub, because you see here's the two components. Here's the front, and here's the backend. The backend, which is a WordPress plugin. You can install that straight into your WordPress. And on the front is just a bunch of code, which some instructions how to install, and the dependencies, which is of course this backend plugin. And then I will show this. I'm not particularly a fan of video in the website, but I wanted to show it because it's new in the WordPress 17 team. You can have a featured video, so it's okay, it works. But then you see, I will click some links, and you see the page doesn't refresh. It stays the same, and it gets filled very quickly. There's some delay, but that's because we added some animation, which fade in, fade out very fast. Because normally it's really bang, bang, bang. It goes very fast. Then I also provided custom post types. It's possible. Event, it's a custom post type. And you can go to a detail. You also have a outer page, outer admin. You see the URL gets updated, but it's fake because it's only one page. You stay at the same page. But with a history push state from HTML, you can very easily fake the URLs so that it follows your structure. Same for category pages, tag pages. It's all there. Even the search feature or something. So, you get a feature page. So that's basically it, I think. I probably forgot a lot, but that's the main thing, I think. Yeah, you also see these nice little animations which Vele added, because I don't know anything about CSS, but just to show that it's possible, to make these animations because you stay at one page. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Because now there's a lot of buzz around A/B testing. I think it might be more difficult in this case because you don't really go to the server, so the server doesn't know really what you are clicking or what you're doing.
Depends on how you do your A/B testing, I guess. Doesn't it depend on how you do the A/B testing?
That's really not my cup of tea. I don't know even why you should do A/B testing.
Sometimes, because now with the old system, so the server knows exactly what you clicked, and here they don't really know. It's all in one big.
Maybe, but you mean if you process your data, your test data at the same server, you mean, or what do you mean? Because
No, if you want to analyze how the user,
Uh-huh.
user's behavior, where he clicks or what he doesn't click. So it's more difficult, I think, in this case to track.
okay, yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah, yeah.
Or do you have to write some code to
That should be possible, I think, but it's surely more complicated than a normal setup.
If you do A/B testing, do Google Analytics, you have special tags to put on every link. So when somebody clicks on that link, the tags are called. So Google Analytics knows which link is clicked and which is not. And it doesn't matter if it's a single page application or a full website.
Yeah.
It's all JavaScript, so it doesn't matter.
But so that should be probably a job for the router to.
It's the same like the state management.
Okay, yeah.
You have parameters on each hyperlink, and those parameters are sent to Google Analytics,
Yeah.
and you know then in the reports which link on which page is clicked, and you can do metrics,
Yeah.
track reports.
And it measures your time also.
Yeah.
I click on a link. Google
Yes, on
Analytics.
each page you have Google. Now you can use the universal tag Google Analytics on the tag manager, different kind of tags. It's put on the bottom of the page and it tracks every time you.
But you always stay on the same page.
Yeah, but we have a state management. That's what the Vue.js script does. It remembers which state you are. So physically you are on a single page, but the content changes and the code knows which content you are on.
Yeah.
There's a virtual world where you navigate through. It's like a normal website, except it's all in the code. All the things are kept in the code instead of visually in the website.
Yeah. So here's the state. So you can keep track of a lot of things if you want to. You can provide state properties, and you can here say which mutations are possible. So that's the Vuex component. It's really small, but you can make it, of course, very complicated if you want. Yeah, I wanted to show this graphical thing. So probably, okay, here it is. So it's so here I define my query, and for example, if I add something like we are now at the post, so yeah, it fills, so it's autofill, so you can okay, say okay, give me the permalinks also. Up, and you see here at the right, permalinks are also showing up. So it's a very nice tool to debug and to make your make your queries. And the queries are made with this thing Loca. Loca is a GraphQL client. Works very good. And so these are your queries. Like you saw in the Google Chrome extension, just like this, you copy them from there to your application and you make the queries. So that's that's it. The questions, someone?